Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by. We've got a really funny deck today. I was watching a video by another content creator, and they were talking about some of the cards that were potentially good, but just hadn't found a home yet. And so I had been working on a really wacky idea for quite a while with this card, Satine Kryze, and yeah, I came into this. And so I have this knack of building really weird off the wall decks, and this is no exception. I just played against Boba Fett and some other deck, and I won. And I didn't win with the primary win condition, but it's nice to know that it's there if we want it. So the primary objective of this deck is to run our opponent completely out of cards. How are we going to do that? As the aforementioned Satine Kryze. Yes, that's Satine Kryze from set 2, the legendary that nobody has ever played. So let's recap it. Essentially, what Satine does, it's a 4-cost unit, and it's heroism, and it's a 0/8, oh sorry, 0/6, and it has the text, each unit, including enemy units, gains action, exhaust. Discard cards from an opponent's deck equal to half this unit's remaining hit points rounded down. Dangerous, right? Yeah, it's definitely dangerous. However, we're trying to game the system a little bit with this. This deck is the Sentinel deck, and it's no matter what your opponent plays, they're pretty much going to have to attack into our Sentinels, which plays into our favor. We're also running main deck restock. I don't have Vigilance in here yet, but I can tell you one thing, and the games that I have played with this, it's been hilarious. People get so upset with all the number of Sentinels in here. Um, it's hilarious. I would say at least 85 or 90% of this deck is Sentinels, and we're going to go through everything. We'll talk about why I picked what I did. Um, First off, it's a Palpatine deck, the Chancellor Palpatine. I wanted to try to get as many different types of Sentinels as possible with this deck, so I'm going with the flip Palp so that we can get hero and villainy cards. And if you haven't played with the Chancellor Palpatine leader before, it does take a little getting used to, so you certainly do want to practice if you're going to try this. This deck is hilarious, and the games that I've played with it, I have gotten Satine online a couple of times, and the close games, it did come down to milling, which I was completely able to take advantage of. But we're just going to jump in and go over everything. Running one main deck restock. And this is obviously, if we start taking the brunt of the milling from Satine, we have a restock to help catch up. I think that I put a couple more on the side. Yeah, I got one more on the side. So just in case. This is designed to fight against other unit-based decks, so it's to be expected. This is a little bit of a hedge that we can catch up with somebody. Queel is not a defender, but in my other Palpatine deck, it's an MVP. It lets us draw an extra card because this deck is 100% vigilance except for the restock. So we're going to always draw a card except for that rare instance where if we happen to mill our restock. It's also restore 1. The restore is big, but this deck is extremely grindy. It definitely stays in the game and is able to heal. You could potentially switch over to the Colossus base if you wanted to, because this deck does draw quite a bit. I'm not quite ready to commit to that yet, though. Our first Sentinel comes in the form of Lothwolf, and that is 2-cost 3/3 Sentinel and vigilance, heroism, and it can't attack. I don't care if it can't attack, it's not a problem. We just want it to get in the way. Anything that's left over with Sentinel that we can activate with our Satine, awesome. Page Tico is also not a Sentinel, one of the rare units that is not. However, with Palpatine, we do need units to die in the early game, so it's a little bit of a balancing act. Page is good because we have a lot of vehicles in this deck. One of the neat things that I ran into is the perimeter AT RT. Paige can pilot that, and I have done that to hilarious effect where it keeps getting the perimeter AT RT bigger when I attack. And so I did attack a couple of times just to get the defense up, and then I started to mill with that. It worked out really well. It's also good with Concord Dawn Interceptor just because of the 4 base defense. It's pretty great. Pike Sentinel, cheap 2/3 Sentinel, hero, Vigilance Villainy here. I think most people know this. And I believe this may be our last not counting Satine. Yeah, so there's one other. So Yaddle is just another good way for us to restore 2 cost vigilance, heroism 2/4, restore 1, and on attack each friendly Jedi unit gains restore 1. It's not a lot of units in here. Actually, I don't think it's any, but it's just an extra point of restore. Yeah, it's just an extra point of restore. Any little bit of health counts here. We just want to stay alive. Calculating Magna Guard is an MVP almost all the time. 3 cost vigilance, villainy, 3/4 sentinel, and when a friendly unit is defeated, it gains sentinel again, other than when it's played, which it also gains. Great unit. We certainly want more defense or more health, so anything with 4 or more is great. Concord Dawn Interceptor is a staple, I think, in a lot of hero-based decks that want to stall. And this is fantastic if it's exactly what we're looking for, something that we can depend on later, that we can start milling our opponent out. Your opponent's units are almost always forced to run into our units, which is great. Then we have the Supremacy Tie / SF, 3 cost of vigilance, villainy, 3/3 sentinel. Again, just another sentinel. Since our entire deck is vigilance, we're also running for Lieutenant Childson. Anybody who's played against us knows how incredibly good this sentinel is. 4 cost vigilance villainy starts off as a 2/2, but we can reveal any number of vigilance cards from our hands and for up to 4, and we get an experience on this for each one that we reveal. So this is a 6 power, 6 toughness unit for 4, which is great. Certainly very difficult to deal with, fits in with the Satine plan very well. Another one with a lot of hit points is Nema Outpost Constable. I don't really see this played often, but the 2/6 is very much what we're looking for with this deck. Lots of toughness. Really like this card here. I've got a Purgle later on that I think is also hilarious in this deck, just because the card is awful. But it fits what we're looking to do, so it works here. Perimeter ATRT, very solid. 3/5 for 4, does very much what we want to do. And then we have the All-Star here, Satine Kryze, which is 4 cost, Vigilance, Heroism, 0/6, and this enables our units to discard cards from the top of our opponent's deck. And again, that's our primary win condition. That's really how we want to win. I have won with damage with this deck, and it's really funny when it does happen, but don't really count on that too often. I really love this unit. I've been wanting to do something with it for a while, and I've had this brewing in the background, and I wanted to wait till we had enough units that had Sentinel to try to make this work, and it seems like we've got a good amount. If we end up getting something that's like a 0/10, for example, absolutely going to run it in this deck if we get that. 1 Felled Dragon to defeat anything that's larger. Our Sentinels can pretty much sweep up anything else. The Graceful Purgle, I think this card is terrible, but it fits so well in this deck with what we're trying to do. 5-drop, 2/7 Sentinel in space. Yeah, that 7 hit points is pretty great. So we're going to end up milling 3 with our Graceful Purgle, and our opponent's going to be forced to attack it. The Clan Saxon Gauntlet is another really funny one because anytime that somebody attacks it, it gets another experience, which it just gets bigger and bigger. So, I mean, you don't have to put the experience on it, but the wording on this says when this unit is attacked, you may give an experience token to a unit before damage is dealt. So you can kind of beef up something else. I tend to put the experience on this, And with Redemption later on, I often heal it up. It's just really funny. Droidica, Security, 6 cost, Vigilance, Villainy, 4/6 with Exploit 2, Sentinel, 4/5, sorry. And it's just another Sentinel. Obi-Wan is one of the few rares in this deck. This deck is pretty budget friendly. I believe when I built this in SWUDB, I think the total said like $27. But that was before I put the Super Laser Blast in there, so might be a little bit more. Anyway, Obi-Wan is a classic. 6 cost, Vigilance, Heroism, 4/6, Sentinel, and when it's defeated, we get to put 2 experience on another friendly unit. And this also lets us draw a card too if the unit that we move the experience to is a force. So just another added benefit there. Second to last card, we've got 2 copies of Redemption, 8-drop Vigilance, Heroism, 6/9 that allows us to heal up our base or another unit if we'd like. And then take damage onto this in its place. It's been fantastic, healing up something like the Clan Saxon Gauntlet with a bunch of experience on it just to get the damage off so we can mill better. I know a lot of people don't know the term mill. Mill just basically means taking the top card of your opponent's deck and putting it into their discard pile. You want to try to run them out of cards. It's just an old term. But Redemption has been great. It's saved my life a bunch of times, especially against the last game against Boba Data Vault. Literally won me the game. I had enough attack on the ground, and I healed my base just enough so they couldn't attack in and kill me, and then I attacked and won. And lastly, Super Laser Blast, the 8 cost Vigilance, Villainy, defeat all units. This deck does fall behind pretty fast, so unless we have our combo out, we can definitely get overrun. We are great at stalling with this deck, but Super Laser Blast is definitely needed. I am toying around with, instead of Super Laser Blast, putting an Evacuation, because it's going to essentially heal all of our Sentinels, and then we can just replay them if we need to in the late game. I don't really see a big downside, so that's a possibility as well if you want to try that out. The only thing that I would say is if you do go that route, it does go against the Chilton plan just a little bit, not a lot. And the sideboard, this is a maybe board. I just threw this together really, but extra restock so that we don't run out of cards ourselves. The Power of the Dark Side, just good removal. 2 more Fell of the Dragons, more removal. Memorial Guard for another Ground Sentinel, and then the classic from set 1, the System Patrol Craft. Just another Space Sentinel if we happen to need that. Sideboard is very much in flux at the moment, so if you want to change that, feel free. The deck link will be posted, of course, in the list. And yeah, as I said, it's really funny. One other card I've been considering putting in here is Search Your Feelings, just so that we can search out our Sabine a little bit quicker. It's definitely a lot of fun. I wouldn't necessarily say to expect to win with this often, but it does win. And it can win with damage, or it can win with the running your opponent out of cards plan. So through this together, it's been something that's been brewing for quite a long time. And it's finally here. So if you want to give it a try, like I said, the deck link is going to be in the comments below here. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. Just wanted to say, if you could please hit that subscribe button. Certainly would appreciate that. Pretty much the newer content creator for Star Wars Unlimited, and any support I can get would definitely help out a lot. Hitting the like button also helps. And other than that, I just wanted to say thanks again for stopping by. It really does mean a lot. I hope that you like this silly nonsense here. And by all means, if you'd like to see some more off-the-wall decks, make sure you subscribe. Thanks again for stopping by. May the Force be with you. Be well, my friends.